What do these billionaires and power players all have in common? Mark Zuckerberg, the tech visionary who built the world's largest social network, connecting billions of people across the planet, then spent $170 million on a private island estate, shattering every real estate record in Miami-Dade County history just to escape it for his own privacy. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, one of the wealthiest men in modern history, who built a trillion-dollar empire, then quietly assembled a $324 million in waterfront properties on the very same island, not just for the land, but for total control. Tom Brady, the greatest NFL quarterback in history, a 7-time Super Bowl champion who dominated the league for over 2 decades, then built his own piece of paradise on the very same island. David Guetta, the global DJ and producer who dominated dance floors across 5 continents and turned music into a 9-figure empire, then secured his own waterfront escape on the very same island. Julio Iglesias, the international music icon with over 300 million records sold worldwide, a voice that defined an entire generation, who chose this island decades before the tech billionaires even knew Miami existed. What is their common ground? They all live on the same island, with only 294 acres just inside Miami Beach, an island you've probably never heard of. A private island with a permanent population of just 84 people, an island with just 41 homes, only 1 guarded bridge, and no public access, an island whose collective net worth rivals entire nations. This 294-acre island is now the most powerful zip code in America. Welcome to Indian Creek Island, famously known as the Billionaire Bunker. But what's happening here isn't just about waterfront mansions. It's about power. It's about capital migration. It is about the most important wealth shift happening in America right now. You're about to discover why this secret fortress is the most explosive real estate market in the entire world. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the ultra-elite settled on this same 294-acre island. From a distance, it doesn't look like much. Just a ring of green in Biscayne Bay, a neat loop of shoreline, a patch of golf course green in the middle. But as we get closer, you start to notice the details. The fact that there are no cars streaming in and out like a normal neighborhood. That's because Indian Creek isn't a normal neighborhood. It's a tiny, ultra-secure village of about 84 residents, where just 41 massive homes wrap around a private golf course, protected by their own police force and constant surveillance. On this island, the neighbors aren't teachers, doctors, and lawyers. They're billionaires, world-famous athletes, tech founders, supermodels, political power players, and old money dynasties from around the globe. To understand how this island turned into one of the most exclusive addresses on Earth, we need to rewind a century, back to the early 1900s, when Miami was still a young, ambitious city trying to figure out what it wanted to be. Back then, developers had a favorite trick: dredge up sand from Biscayne Bay to deepen the channels for ships, then dump that sand in shallow water to create new land. Indian Creek began its life like that, not as a grand master plan for a billionaire refuge, but as a practical side effect of digging out the bay. Over time, that pile of dredged sand was shaped and sculpted into an island. By the 1920s, as Miami's high society started dreaming up winter playgrounds, the island's potential came into focus. A private country club was built in 1929, with a Mediterranean-style clubhouse that looked like it had been flown in from the Italian Riviera. Arched windows, terracotta roof tiles, a grand entrance framed by palms. A golf course was laid out in the middle of the island, fairways rolling gently through the center like a lush green spine, while the shoreline was reserved for large waterfront homes. Even then, the idea was clear. This wouldn't be a busy town or a dense subdivision. It would be a retreat, a hideaway for people who already had a home somewhere else, but wanted something special by the water. In 1939, the handful of residents who had bought into this vision did something unusual. They went to the state and asked to form their own tiny municipality, the village of Indian Creek. At the time, the population was so small you could practically fit everyone around one dining table, yet they were granted their own government, their own zoning rules, and eventually their own dedicated police force. Think about that. While most neighborhoods have to rely on city services and local politics, Indian Creek's residents put themselves in the position to decide what happened on their island, who could build what, how things would be enforced, how strictly the island would control its boundaries. They weren't just buying homes, they were buying a degree of control and autonomy that few communities ever achieve. For the first few decades, Indian Creek was a quiet, somewhat obscure enclave. Wealthy families had vacation homes there, especially from Miami and other parts of the US. But it wasn't yet the stuff of headlines. It was simply one more piece of the growing Miami story. Sunshine, golf, grand houses by the water. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and the world around Indian Creek had changed dramatically. Miami was no longer just a vacation town. It had grown into a major international city, a gateway between the United States and Latin America. Little by little, the island began to attract serious heavyweights: billionaire investors, banking magnates, industrialists, and global business leaders. Famous singers and entertainers bought homes here too. Big names from Wall Street and Latin America quietly snapped up properties, turning this formerly low-profile island into an invisible power cluster. Then came the celebrity era, the point where Indian Creek stopped being just a quiet haven for the rich and became a full-blown symbol of something bigger. In the 2000s and 2010s, news began to trickle out about who lives behind the gates of Indian Creek in the northern part of Miami Beach. Meet the people who didn't just buy homes here. They bought their way into the most powerful private address on Earth. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Meta and Facebook, worth an estimated $223.5 billion, making him the fourth richest person on the planet, is the island's newest and perhaps most symbolic resident. In a deal that shattered every real estate record in Miami-Dade County history, Zuckerberg purchased the newly completed waterfront estate at 7 Indian Creek Island Road for a jaw-dropping $170 million. To put that in perspective, that crushes the previous Miami-Dade record of $120 million by a staggering $50 million. The sellers, celebrity cosmetic surgeon Dr. Aaron Rollins and his wife, Maureen Rollins, who bought the raw land for just $30 million back in 2020. Do the math. That's a $140 million profit in just 5 years. And here's what makes this purchase even more extraordinary. The property was originally listed for $200 million in November 2025. Zuckerberg negotiated it down, but still paid record-shattering money for what many consider the crown jewel of Indian Creek Island. Now let's talk about what $170 million actually gets you. This isn't just a house. This is a masterpiece designed by Ferris Rafali, one of the most sought-after luxury designers in the world. If that name sounds familiar, it should. Rafali is the genius behind Drake's legendary Toronto estate. When Ferris Rafali designs something, it doesn't look like a house. It looks like a 5-star resort built for one person. The estate spans nearly 28,000 to 30,000 square feet of living space, sitting on almost 2 full acres with an extraordinary 200 feet of Biscayne Bay frontage. The home is clad in limestone, giving it that cool, sculptural, modern classic feel that Rafali is known for. But the real magic is in the details. Start with the jazz lounge. Yes, a dedicated jazz lounge. Then there's the double-height library, hidden behind a secret passage. You literally have to find the door. That's not a home feature. That's a movie set. The kitchen? It's separated from the dining area by a 1,500-gallon aquarium, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. You eat dinner while watching a private ocean. The spa suite features a Himalayan salt wall sauna and a steam room, the kind of amenities you'd find at a $2,000 a night resort. Outside, a stunning 60-foot pool and cabana with unobstructed bay views. And for Zuckerberg's water toys, a 135-foot yacht-ready dock sits right off the property, big enough to accommodate his $300 million feed ship super yacht, Launchpad. The property was listed as a rare blank slate opportunity, meaning while the bones and design are extraordinary, Zuckerberg gets to come in and put his own stamp on it. For a man who has meticulously built custom compounds in Palo Alto, Kauai, Lake Tahoe, and Washington, D.C., that kind of creative control is priceless. And after months of speculation, including false rumors that Zuckerberg was eyeing the home of Jersey Mike's founder, Peter Cancro, down the street, the deal is now confirmed and recorded. But this isn't just another real estate transaction. This is a statement. The man who made the world more connected than ever just bought the most disconnected address in America. And he's not alone. His wife, Priscilla Chan, a physician and philanthropist, brings her own influence and purpose to the island. Together, they join a neighborhood where privacy isn't just preferred, it's engineered. Why Indian Creek? Control, security, and a place to raise their family far from the constant scrutiny that comes with being one of the most recognizable figures in tech. And then there is Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, space pioneer, and owner of the 417-foot super yacht Kourou. is worth around $230 to $250 billion, and Indian Creek Island has become his new playground. Bezos hasn't just purchased one property, he's assembled an empire on this island. His first two purchases totaled over $234 million. Then in 2024, he made a third purchase, reportedly another $90 million, bringing his total investment on Indian Creek to over $324 million. Imagine combining three waterfront mansions to create the ultimate billionaire fortress. That's exactly what he's doing. Lauren Sanchez, his wife, brings the Hollywood firepower, former news anchor, Emmy winner, and helicopter pilot who owns an aerial film production company. This isn't a home, it's a strategic base for America's most ambitious power couple. And then there's Tom Brady, the NFL's 7-time Super Bowl champion, with a net worth around $300 million, bought a waterfront lot on Indian Creek back in 2020 and built a massive mansion. From TB12 fitness brands to a major sports broadcasting deal, Brady's second career is shaping up fast. Why Indian Creek? Privacy for his kids, sunshine, and a secure community close to Miami's sports and business world. And then there's Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, now widely considered billionaires, own a 6-bedroom compound on the island, purchased for $24 million. Jared expanded into major investment deals through affinity partners, while Ivanka focuses on philanthropy and private ventures. And then there's Carl Icahn. The legendary corporate raider is worth an estimated $5 to $6 billion. And he doesn't just own one home on Indian Creek, he owns 3 homes on the island, each valued at over $50 million. Known for shaking up companies from Apple to Herbalife, for a man used to hostile takeovers, having a literal island fortress times 3 is fitting. And then there's David Guetta. DJ and producer David Guetta, with a net worth around $200 million, bought a new 12-bedroom modern home with 118 feet of bay frontage. He also sold part of his music catalog for roughly $100 million. Why Indian Creek? Peace, privacy, and space to create music while still being minutes from Miami nightlife. And then there's Julio Iglesias. Music legend Julio Iglesias, worth around $600 million, has been investing in Indian Creek since the 1970s. He once owned several adjacent waterfront lots, later listing them as a group for $150 million. Mediterranean-style privacy and unmatched waterfront serenity for a global superstar. And then there's Robert and Michelle Diener, co-founder of Hotels.com and Getaroom. Robert Diener built his wealth in online travel. He also serves on the Indian Creek Village Council, helping govern the island itself. A resort-like lifestyle with unmatched security and privacy. Perfect distance from Wall Street with easy access to Miami's exploding investment world. And then there's the Don Shula family. The late Dolphins coach, Don Shula, owned an Indian Creek home, reflecting decades of Miami sports royalty. His estate was valued between $30 to $60 million, built from coaching, endorsements, and restaurants. And then there's Jaime Galinsky, Colombian banking billionaire worth $10 to $11 billion, owns prime Indian Creek estates. He built his empire through banking turnarounds and massive developments like Panama Pacifico. Why Indian Creek? Privacy plus proximity to Miami's international financial network. And then there's Rakesh Gangwal, co-founder of Indigo Airlines and former chairman at major U.S. carriers. Gangwal is worth $6 to $8 billion. He purchased an Indian Creek mansion long before the island became the global headline it is today. Why Indian Creek? Convenience for international travel and unparalleled tranquility. And then there's Eddie Lampert. The former Sears CEO and billionaire hedge fund manager has quietly maintained a presence on Indian Creek for years. A fortress of privacy for one of retail's most controversial figures. And then there's Norman Brahman and other moguls. Norman Brahman and other moguls art collector and billionaire auto magnate Norman Brahman is one of Indian Creek's longest tenured residents and is now Mark Zuckerberg's door neighbor. When the Wall Street Journal asked Brahman about his new neighbor, his wife Irma had a simple response: "We're happy to have him." Together they form a neighborhood where being only a billionaire is almost humble. That's Indian Creek Island. 41 homes, 12 billionaires, 1 island, and every single one of them chose to be here. But here's what most people miss. This isn't just a story about an exclusive island. This is about something much bigger. Zuckerberg's record-shattering $170 million purchase is the exclamation point on a trend that's been building for years. He's not the only tech billionaire making this move. Google co-founder Larry Page just dropped $173 million on 2 Coconut Grove estates. Google co-founder Sergey Brin bought a waterfront mansion on Allison Island for $50 million. And this isn't random. California's proposed wealth tax, a levy that could hit billionaires with a one-time charge on their entire net worth, sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. For Zuckerberg alone, that tax could have cost $11 billion. So what did they do? They moved, not just to Florida, to Miami. And here's why that matters. For decades, Silicon Valley defined the epicenter of innovation and tech wealth. If you wanted to be in tech, you had to be there. But today, Indian Creek, along with the North Bay Road to Sunset Harbor corridor of Miami Beach, is quietly rewriting that narrative. What was once viewed as a seasonal playground has evolved into a year-round command center for global founders, venture capital leaders, hedge fund managers, family offices, and next-generation AI builders. This is about gravity. Capital has shifted, talent has shifted, influence has shifted. Major tech firms are actively exploring expanded footprints in Miami. Venture capital funds are aligning with the city's rapidly accelerating startup ecosystem. Private equity, crypto innovators, and global investors are converging on the same stretch of coastline. The signal is unmistakable. This migration is not about tax strategy alone. It is about freedom to build, speed to scale, access to global markets, and a business climate aligned with ambition. As regulatory pressures and cost structures intensify in traditional hubs, Miami offers something fundamentally different: pro-business momentum, international connectivity, cultural energy, and a lifestyle that attracts the world's top performers. The result? Shockwaves. Not just across Silicon Valley, not just across San Francisco, but across the global map of power. Miami is not becoming the capital of wealth. It already is. From Indian Creek to North Bay Road, from Sunset Islands to Sunset Harbor, the world's most successful people are no longer visiting. They are building. They are investing. They are planting long-term flags. And it all started right here, on 294 acres in Biscayne Bay. So what are these billionaires actually paying for? These are prices that would make even other luxury markets blink. But as incredible as the houses are, what buyers are really paying for goes beyond marble floors and yacht docks. They're paying for 5 things money can't buy anywhere else on earth. First, there's privacy. If you're used to paparazzi waiting outside your building, drones hovering over your backyard, and fans snapping photos every time you step out for coffee, the idea of living on a street where no one can just wander by with a camera is incredibly appealing. On Indian Creek, there are no tourists, no tour buses, no random joggers cutting through your neighborhood. The only people on the island are residents, invited guests, and staff whose presence is carefully logged and monitored. Second, there's security. The island's tiny government has built a system where public safety is ultra-focused. Bridge checkpoints, marine patrols, and constant awareness of who should and shouldn't be there create a level of controlled access that most neighborhoods simply can't match. Third, there's location. For all its isolation, Indian Creek is not in the middle of nowhere. Within a short drive or boat ride, residents can be at some of the most high-end shopping and dining in the United States, especially in nearby Bal Harbor and Miami Beach. Private airports, business districts, nightlife, and entertainment are all close. Residents can step into the full energy of Miami when they want it, then retreat back across that bridge into their quiet, guarded bubble when they don't. Fourth, there's tax logic, and this might sound less glamorous but is hugely important to the ultra-wealthy. Florida has no state income tax, which makes it extremely attractive for individuals with huge incomes or large portfolios. In fact, California's proposed wealth tax, a levy that could have cost Zuckerberg alone an estimated $11 billion, has accelerated a billionaire exodus to Florida unlike anything this state has ever seen. For people moving from high-tax states like New York or California, or from unstable political environments abroad, setting up a base in Indian Creek isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a strategic move worth billions. And fifth, there's something harder to quantify: status. Indian Creek is not just an expensive place, it's a symbol. To own a home here is to be part of an unspoken club, one that doesn't advertise membership, but sends a clear signal to those who know. When your neighbors are on Forbes lists, running global companies, or starring in international sports and fashion, you're playing in a very specific league. There's a network effect at work. The more high-profile people move in, the more other high-profile people want to join them. After all, if you're worth hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, it might feel strange to live on a street where you're the only one with that kind of wealth. On Indian Creek, you're surrounded by peers who operate at a similar level. So what does day-to-day life actually look like inside this so-called billionaire bunker? We can't follow anyone around with a camera, and that's exactly how the residents like it. But we can imagine the rhythms. Early in the morning, the sun comes up over Miami Beach, casting a pink glow across the bay. Somewhere on that ring road, a few residents might be heading out to play a quiet round of golf on one of the most immaculately groomed courses in the country, a course that some insiders say is better kept than Augusta National itself. No noisy crowds, no packed tee sheet, just a handful of members and an impeccably kept course. Inside the homes, everyday life may look surprisingly normal in some ways. Kids do homework, parents take calls on laptops, people watch TV, scroll their phones, and wander into the kitchen for a snack. The difference is in the scale and the silence. There's no traffic noise, no sirens, no bar around the corner spilling sound into the night, the splash of a pool, the distant sound of a boat passing by. At night, the island glows softly, pools lit up in blue and turquoise, lights from the houses reflecting on the water. Social gatherings happen behind gates and hedges, dinner parties, celebrations, maybe the occasional multi-million-dollar deal discussed over drinks on a waterfront terrace. Indian Creek has become an easy image to latch onto, a literal island of billionaires with its own guards and gates, floating off the coast of a city where many people struggle with housing costs, wages, and everyday challenges. To critics, it's the embodiment of separation between the ultra-rich and everyone else. To residents, it's simply a rational response to the realities of their lives. Constant attention, security concerns, and the desire to give their families a peaceful place to exist. Both perspectives can be true at the same time. The island is a marvel of security, engineering, and luxury. It's also a powerful symbol of how money can quite literally shape the landscape, carving a private world out of public waters. Indian Creek Island is more than just a glamorous real estate story. It's the product of a century of shifting values, from the early days of Florida land speculation to the rise of Miami as a global city to the era of tech billionaires and global capital. What started as a man-made lump of dredged sand became a country club retreat. That country club retreat became a guarded village for the wealthy. And eventually, that guarded village became the Billionaire Bunker, a place where the world's richest individuals go not to be seen, but to disappear. For the rest of us, it will probably always be a place we only view from a distance. A ring of palm trees, a line of roofs, and the occasional glimpse of a yacht sliding past. But the story of Indian Creek tells us something about the world we live in now. That in an age obsessed with access, visibility, and connection, the ultimate luxury for a select few is still the same as it's always been. Privacy, safety, and a small piece of the world they can truly call their own. Remember the question we started with. What do these billionaires all have in common? And for Mark Zuckerberg, the man who connected the entire world, that small piece is right here at 7 Indian Creek Island Road. On Indian Creek Island in Miami Beach, where he paid a record-shattering $170 million for a masterpiece designed by Ferris Rafali, with a secret library behind a hidden passage, a 1,500-gallon aquarium separating the kitchen from the dining room, a Himalayan salt wall sauna, and a 135-foot dock ready for his $300 million super yacht. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Billionaire Bunker, do us a favor before you go. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about success, power, and real estate.